So I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about CEOing because that's an interesting thing. I want to see how that's going. And also the fact that you guys got some capital. I'd love to hear like what your plans are with that. But it sounds like you guys went from, you and a co-founder and you're kind of growing the team out in maybe a bootstrap way today. How do you spend your time as a startup CEO running a SaaS company? What's your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, I think well, one like the role of a CEO I feel like has changed since like when I first started to now because obviously we have a bigger team and
Yep.
um, the all the different buckets that a CEO has is also like something that I'm forever learning and getting better at. But my day to day is really driven around like I try to use the first couple hours to regroup with my teammates individually, figure out what my plan is for the day, like what has high priority, medium priority, low priority. I try to write down as much as I can. That's the only way I remember. But I think from now from before, like I'm definitely in way more meetings than I am on actually like day to day activities. So they have teammates that
Yep.
are doing that. And now it's more about how do I empower um, and give that leadership ability to the rest of my teammates in their respective roles to execute and make the best decisions and come back to me to and give me those reasons why we should be going this way or that way. Um, but I try to give almost all of our teammates autonomy as to like what where their roles are. I don't like to micromanage per se, but I do look for people that are self-taught or driven on their own, kind of looking to grow in their role as well. Um, but I think one of the best things that I've done over the last year was during COVID was I started doing self development courses or coaching, and that's been super big for me because as CEO, like at the end of the day, like the responsibility falls on you if things don't go the right way. And pandemic is very stressful time
Yeah.
in a business, right? You're trying to make sure that everyone's getting paid, everyone's getting fed, and so that was a very stressful time for us. But we were able to make the right decisions, and I think one of the big things that I attribute to that is having done the personal development coaching because it was able to help me identify what I can work on, so then I can actually, if I can't grow, then how can I grow my other teammates?
Yeah. Was this like self-service or do you have a coach or a founders group? What does that look like?
Uh, no, I have a coach that I worked with like on a week. I still work with him on a weekly basis. It's funny. It's actually like one of our investors, but at the time, I just wanted him for an investment deal. But he mentioned like, hey, I do, you know, personal development coaching, and I was like, let's try it out. I never believed in that stuff. I was like, you should be able to figure these things out, but I just was hitting
Yeah.
huge roadblocks, and I was able to overcome those roadblocks very quickly once I started.
Yep. We have a coaching program at Risk 360 too. The leaders get a coach. We're only about 30 people, so still a pretty small team. But if you're a leader in the business, then you're a coach of some of the other team members, and then the leaders in the business have coaches too. And I was kind of a similar ilk in that very do-it-yourself kind of mentality. But I was at big consulting ahead of this, and they gave you a coach there that was typically a partner at the firm, so I kind of learned to appreciate it. Is it
Yeah.
what's the format? Is it guided? Is it very customized? So this is a professional coach, I guess.
Mhm.
Can you talk about like what does a session look like? Is it just chatting and putting career plans together? What does that look like?
No, so like there's this book that first we read, and there's like big pieces to the personal development like that really apply to all works of all parts of your life. But you can apply it very well to work because half of your life is work. But it goes through different pieces, so like clarity, energy, courage, um, productivity, what else? Influence. And I think there's one
Cool.
more. But yeah, you go over like these big buckets, and then from there you identify like how has this week. What were the things in those buckets for this week? But they make it very personalized. I really like it because typically
Very cool.
a piece will go into the week that I may have been struggling on something.
Yeah, we read these two books. One called Traction by a guy named Gino Wickman, and another called Scaling Up by a guy named Vern Harnish. If you haven't read those, recommend them. We kind of built some of our business processes around them pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think, like, so what's your plans for Qoins? So small team, hopefully, are you trying to keep it lean but grow it? Do you see you guys being a several hundred person company at some point? What's your vision there?
Yeah, from a team perspective, I think um, keeping it lean is just kind of how I've always had it and how I'd like it. I don't know that yeah, I mean, I would love to have like a 100-person team. I don't know that we would need to get to that size, but from a long term vision, like I think our end goal has always been how do we create a 10x better product that we can then kind of sell to a large FI or credit union or other fintech that kind of works in tandem to what we're
Yeah.
doing. And so that's always been our end goal. And timeline wise, 3 to 5 years has always been kind of the time frame. And so we're going into year 4 now, and I think we're just now hitting good sprints,
Yeah.
both from the personal side and from the business side. And I think part of it attributes to I've never done this before, so it's taken me a little while to get to a certain point where I am starting to understand like a lot of the key pieces